podcast. Ben Travers, James Frayne. Welcome one and all. Frayne, huge weekend because we have I've received a lot of texts from people saying they've got Christmas parties on. They've got twilight racing in all the eastern states tomorrow night. So we really need to find a couple of winners. And fuck, I'm feeling good. There's one tomorrow at Doomben that I'm going to back until it hurts. I'm so keen on it. We'll get into that a little bit later. How are you going, Frayne Train?
Mate, I'm good. No rear view mirrors in my cars or house this week. Only looking forward. Forget what happened. Forget the disaster of last Saturday. Onwards and upwards from here.
I agree. We will just touch on that. We'd like to be accountable. My best bet of the day score ran fourth at good each way odds at the time. As soon as the track got downgraded to a soft track, I knew we were in a bit of trouble, but they kept backing it. And I think yours was Shadow of Time, which I think jumped Saturday at about 3:30 and finished Monday.
Yep.
Yeah.
The horse that beat it, a Pimple last start, probably beat it by about 20 lengths on Saturday. So go figure with picking the right horse out of the race there. I've done well.
We move on. Big racing Friday and Saturday. We'll mainly look at Saturday's card, but then, as I said, there's a couple on Friday that I really want to stick my teeth into. We're going to start in Melbourne, and racing's at Flemington, Frano. We haven't spoken about any selections, actually, apart from the fact that Glenn Boss in Brisbane has a great book of rides both Friday and Saturday. Are you going anywhere in Flemington?
I'm not, Ben. I'm leaving this one outside the off stump, the whole Flemington card. I've got to choose my battles because I want a winning week for the punters out there.
I really do as well. So I'm going with two bets at Flemington. And I'm pretty confident on the first one, which is race 3 at Flemington. Coolth. First up ran at the Valley unsuited, but like Coolth here around the $3.50, barrier 1, Luke Curry. I think it's a very good chance. I just hope it gets some luck. The only thing that doesn't lead me to believe that this is a really, really, really top bet is the fact that it's got barrier 1. I think it needs a bit of room. So as long as we get a few breaks, we should be right. The other one at Flemington is race 5, a horse that we tipped 2 weeks ago at the Valley. And this thing just loves Flemington. Stats at the track are something along the lines of 17 starts, 5 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. That's Prezado, the top weight in race 5. So race 5, number 1, Prezado. It does have to carry 62 kilos, but Jamie Carr, I think it's just better than this field, especially down the straight. And considering the bottom weights in at 56 kilos, I actually think it's not too badly weighted. Good speed in the race, so it should sit off a hot tempo and hopefully come home with one withering burst down the outside. To Sydney, Frayne Train, they're back at Randwick. We've got all the big tracks this week. We've got Flemington, Randwick and Eagle Farm, which I love. Racing in Sydney, I think will be sort of a good track there. Are you playing in Sydney at all?
Yeah, there's one in Sydney. I don't mind in race 4. Number 9, Perfect Deal. Michael Costa taking one down to Sydney. Very astute trainer. Places his horses perfectly. And he said in the past, I think he took one down last year around this time to Sydney. He's not taking it down for a haircut. It's there because it's good enough. Perfect Deal. I think 4 wins from six starts. So it could be anything. And it's racing up against another horse that's done well here in Brisbane. He runs away, and a couple that I think raced last week in significance and accountability. So accountability is in well at the weight, but you can get $9 and $2.50 for Perfect Deal. So good each way play there.
Yeah, I was actually going to tip accountability, but I actually didn't. So there's a sign there. I was worried about Perfect Deal in that race. So that's a good sign. You're right. Perfect Deal, very well weighted at 53 kilos. So is accountability with just 53 and a half. Accountability did run home well last week off a pretty slow tempo. Tommy Berry on board, but I'll sit that one out and I'll cheer home. In fact, I'll back Perfect Deal with you. Good win at Doomben last start. I like that. We're getting through the Randwick and Melbourne stuff pretty quickly because I reckon there's a few in Brisbane.
Just one more in Randwick, which I think is a good play. There's a first starter in trained by Annabelle Neesham in race 5, number 11, Ashima. Ran second behind Fake Love, which is a favourite for the race up here on the weekend in the 2-year-old race, lead up to the Magic Millions. And that Fake Love won on debut at Caulfield. There's been money for it. I'm Invincible. I think it's a good bet at around $5.
Sure. So that's so they trialled against each other, did they? I haven't looked at that race.
Yeah, they did. They trialled against each other. It draws barrier 4, the favourite, another expensive filly, another expensive gelding from the Hawks Yard has barrier 10, and I just think barrier 4.
Yep. Rachel King
it'll
on
have
board.
all the favourites. Yeah, Rachel King. So
Riding very well.
I like that.
Cool. Right. So 2 for Frayne in Sydney, race 4, Perfect Deal. And race 5, Frayne likes Ashima, which you'll get around the $5 mark. My only bet now that I am not going to back accountability is in the following race. So we're going races 4, 5, and 6 in Sydney, mindful of the fact that we are only hopefully tipping absolute certainties this week. And that is the favourite and top weight, Taylor. Kieran McAvoy absolutely fucked us last week with his ride on Big Boy Roy. It's one for the forgive file, but he is on the favourite here. This just looks different class to me, and only a 2 kilo difference with the major rivals in the weights. I think it's a pretty good bet. I think its last start win, yes, it was the Melbourne way of going, was about 5 or 6 lengths. Very good horse. I think it's trialled well. $2.30 or 40 thereabouts, and hopefully should be winning. So 3 selections for the Sydney card. We'll move up to Brisbane. Racing in Queensland's heating up. Like the temperature with the Magic Millions Carnival, only about 3 or 4 weeks away, just after the start of January. So a lot of good horses and jockeys are finding their way up to Brisbane. Frano, what do you like in Brisbane for this week?
I am going back to the well on Good Size that was just broke our hearts 2 weeks ago when it looked a winner for 300 metres of 250 metres of the 300-metre odd straight there at Doomben. But huge riding change with Cartwright off, Glenn Boss on, getting 440. I don't think from the barriers, C. Marie, who's the favourite again, that beat Good Size last start, I don't think from the barriers it's going to have that stalking run off Good Size. I think Good Size might be able to do that to C. Marie, and I think it meets it a couple of kilos better at the weights. Maybe not. Maybe only a kilo or so better. So I'm back on Good Size at 440.
Yep, so that is, what do we got? Race 2, number 7, Good Soys. Again, broke our hearts a fortnight ago, but I do like the big track, 1,820 metres, I think, and 3-time Melbourne Cup winning jockey Glenn Boss in the saddle. And fuck me, let's hope he has a big day. What else have you got in Brisbane, Franchine?
Next race, same jockey, Glenn Boss, on a horse which I think is ridiculous value at $6. That's Malahide. This is a horse last prep. I think it's got a great first up record, had a disappointing last prep. It was a $1.60 favourite first up and just had a little bit of a yuck run from start to finish. And
you backed it, didn't you?
Something wasn't right with it. So I did.
I could feel the hurt in you.
He was going for a stack.
Yeah, I bet.
It was at Noosa Surf Club. Could have bought the joint, I reckon, if it had got up. But anyway, it's going to make us back the money this weekend.
Yep. No,
it was like
mate, what a spot. What a spot. Noosa Surf Club.
Yeah.
Oh, made my fair share of donations there.
No, it's at Eagle Farm, which is a big plus for this horse because it will get back in a run. It'll be off midfield. And I think Glenn Boss will just chart a path using the big long straight, and it'll be see you later. Everything else at about the 100, I reckon, it'll just be too good for him.
Oh, give it strength. Sounds like that's probably near enough to your best of the weekend.
That's my best. That's my best of the weekend. For
anything else in Brisbane for you? Or are you just gonna?
No, that's it.
Are you just gonna be nude drunk at about 1:30 and?
That's right.
You'll be off to the casino or something. All right. Well, you've tipped race 2 and 3, G Boss. Let's hope this bloke hasn't got COVID or anything on the weekend, because race 8 is my bet of the day, bet of the weekend. Saturday, Sunday at least. Race 8, number 3, Frosty Rocks, the Sydney Raider coming up for Glen Boss. A couple of reasons I like this. There's a bit of rain expected in Brisbane over the next 48 hours, including on Saturday. Frosty Rocks has won 3 races on rain-affected tracks. It won first up. It then trialled about 10 days ago. Bossy actually rode it in the trial. So it looks as though this has been a bit of a target for Glen Boss to sit on this. 57 kilos, sort of set weights here, I think. Bossy should take it straight to the front. I can only really see Master Jamie coming across and sort of sitting outside it. Profit is the danger in the race, according to the market, and by everyone's sort of opinion, it'll probably sit on Frosty Rocks' back. But I just think Bossy, even if the track's a bit cut up and he has to come a bit wide and even just run off the rail a little bit, I think it'll have too much of a kick in the straight for these ones. So bet of the day time for me is race 8, number 3, Glen Boss on Frosty Rocks. And my last, I'm not sure whether you're having, no, you're not. You just said you're not having anything else. But surprise, surprise, my last bet of the day is also at Eagle Farm. The last race, Glen Boss rides, exhilarates the Godolphin mare, which carries 59.5 kilos here. And has a win on a soft track. If it got to a heavy track, I'd probably not back it. So I'll be waiting to see what happens on game day here. But all things being equal, this is just a different class. I think it has earned the weight, 59.5. Bossy again, a bit similar to Malahide. I think he just needs to find a bit of cover, maybe 3 deep with a bit of cover would be fine. $3.94 thereabouts with play up. I think it's a very good bet. So I'll be on Bossy. So that's 4 tips for Bossy today. So for Saturday rather. So if you've got a Jockeys Challenge, I reckon Bossy would be about $1.10 in the Jockeys Challenge. It's probably worth a bit. So my 2 bets, race 8, number 3, Frosty Rocks, and race 9, the top weight, number 1, Exhilarates, for racing in Brisbane on Saturday at Eagle Farm. Now, Frayno, they're at Eagle Farm Saturday and Friday. They're at Doomben. Have you had a look at anything you like at Doomben or Moonee Valley or indeed Canterbury at all?
I have had a look. Notoriously difficult cards at the Friday night meetings, the twilight meetings. I've donated a fair bit in the recent meetings when they've done the twilight meetings in Brisbane and whatnot. I think Ballistic Boy, short odds at $1.70. Not a big fan of tipping people into short odds, but geez, I think it is just so much better than everything else in that race. I think if you've had a good early start or you're looking to build a bank, put it in your multis. It's a better horse than anything else in that race.
I agree. I think the only thing would be if it rains. It hasn't been on a rain-affected track, so it doesn't mean it can't handle it.
Is the rain meant to arrive
I think
Saturday?
a bit tomorrow and more Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
right.
We'll see. I also agree that Ballistic Boy is just too good for that field. Unfortunately, Glen Boss is on something else, so we won't be tipping Bossy there. Matt McGilvray rides Ballistic Boy for Chris Anderson. And I've got 2 others. One of them was a first starter I'd backed on, I think, a Wednesday meeting a couple of weeks ago. Again, for Chris Anderson, Larry Cassidy rides race 1 Reality. Which I think will go to the front. Sort of got beaten by a pretty good one, I think, on its debut. Ran second, beat the rest by a couple of lengths, maybe 3 or 4. I can only really see one likely danger in the race. That'd be Boom Nova. But I think Reality will go to the front. If it doesn't have to do too much work, I think it'll win. But the one I'm really confident on, Frano, this is the stocking filler. This is back it till it fucking hurts you. Like I am going to back this like there's no tomorrow. I think there's been a shit ton of money for it already. But race 4 Doomben, Merry Christmas, hopefully at 4:34 Brisbane time tomorrow. Platinum Euros for surprise Glen Boss and Natalie McCall. Back this first up, tipped it to a few people, ran a great second to Garibaldi, which is a pretty classy galloper in his own right. But Barrier 2, again, Bossy on board. So we're tipping Bossy to have an absolute fill-up over the weekend. I think it is an absolute certainty, and I'll be betting accordingly.
How good. How good. You could maybe multi platinum euros in a Ballistic Boy. Get I'm not as confident.
I could. I'm not as confident as Ballistic Boy, so I won't take the. I'll take all the money I win on Platinum Euros and I'll put a bit on Ballistic Boy, but I don't. I'm not at the same confidence levels as Ballistic Boy. I just think Platinum Euros will sit third, fourth, one out, one back in trotting terms. Might even grab the fence, depending on what jumping from barrier one. Spending my time, I think. I think Platinum Euros is an absolute moral, and if it doesn't win, someone else will be doing this podcast next week. That's it for racing. Other than that, we've obviously got the Big Bash going on. All the rugby's finished for the year. The league, AFL, of course, is all done. NBA starts next week. Big Bash on the weekend. They're playing out of the hubs in Hobart and Canberra at the moment. There's a game on right now as we record this. I think the Stars have a back-to-back, one against the Heat and maybe the Thunder, I think, on Saturday. We've both tipped the Scorchers to win the Big Bash. They play Saturday night against the Renegades, I believe. So the Big Bash is in full swing, and I'm sticking fat with the Scorchers to win the whole thing at about the $6 or $3.50 to make the final. That's about it for this week.
Any just before we head off, any long range or futures markets for top tournament run scorer or top tournament wicket taker that you have had a look?
Haven't even had a look. Haven't even had a look, but I'll tell you right now, and if these two come off, it's a miracle. Look, if the Heat are any chance, it's obviously Chris Lynn. So I'm just going to back Lynn because he's got more hundreds than Bradman lately. So I'll go Lenny, top run scorer, and obviously he won't be required for it. Well, you doubt he'd be playing for Australia, so he'll be in the tournament the whole time. So I'll go Lenny, run scorer, and bowler. I'll go it'll either be Adam Zampa or Rashid Khan. So I'm sticking with one of the spinners to clean up. Khan, no one can pick, and Zampa just seems to take a lot of wickets. Goes for a few runs, but seems to take a lot of wickets. So I'll take those two. What are your thoughts on those?
I'm thinking a bit of a value play. Josh Ingles from the Scorchers. We're tipping them to have a big year, and I think he's a wicketkeeper and he'll open. And I think he made the team of the tournament last year. He's on the up. He's someone who's pretty decent, and I think he can. I haven't checked the latest odds, but I'm sure you'd be able to get sort of $30+ for him. So
Right.
for a spec there.
Yeah.
Top tournament wicket taker, always hard because someone really launches out of the pack and puts their name up in lights. I was thinking maybe Morne Morkel. He'll be.
Oh, yeah.
He probably won't open. He'll probably be the first change for the Heat when maybe the batsmen are looking to up the run rate a bit, use his pace on the Gabba deck, pace and bounce because he's a tall fella. And yeah, I think he could clean up a couple.
We'll have to find out what they are. We'll put them up. We'll flush up the odds, but yeah, a couple of little sneaky selections there on the fly. That's what we do. Look, if Platinum Euros doesn't win at Doomben tomorrow, I'll probably give up my podcasting membership, and someone else will be running the Inside Feed Punters Club podcast next week. And we have had a few applications for people who want to join us, so we're just sifting through those and making sure there's no dickheads in there. But hopefully we'll get someone on maybe next week. We'll see how we go. Give Platinum Euros strength, Frayne. Give Frosty Rock strength, give good size, just give Glenn Boss strength this weekend. Let's hope he has an absolute fill up and we're all dancing come Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully. Righto, until next week, we'll be back because Platinum Euros will win. We'll see you then.